a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping is a Chinese politician currently serving as General Secretary of the Communist Party of China, President of the People's Republic of China, and Chairman of the Central Military Commission. As Xi holds the top offices of the party, the state, and the military, he is sometimes referred to as China's paramount leader. In 2016, the party officially gave him the title of core leader. As General Secretary, Xi holds an ex-officio seat on the Politburo Standing Committee of the Communist Party of China, China's top decision-making body. Xi Jinping is the first General Secretary to have been born after the Second World War. The son of Chinese Communist veteran Xi Zhongxun, Xi rose through the ranks politically in China's coastal provinces. Xi was governor of Fujian from 1999 to 2002, and governor, then party secretary of neighboring Zhejiang province from 2002 to 2007. Following the dismissal of Chen Liangyu, Xi was transferred to Shanghai as party secretary for a brief period in 2007. Xi joined the Politburo Standing Committee and Central Secretariat in October 2007, spending the next 5 years as Hu Jintao's presumed successor. Xi was vice president from 2008 to 2013, and vice chairman of the Central Military Commission from 2010 to 2012. Since assuming power, Xi has introduced far-ranging measures to enforce party discipline and to ensure internal unity. His signature anti-corruption campaign led to the downfall of prominent incumbent and retired officials. Xi has tightened restrictions over civil society and ideological discourse, advocating internet censorship in China as the concept of internet sovereignty. Xi has called for further market economic reforms, for governing according to the law and for strengthening legal institutions, with an emphasis on individual and national aspirations under the slogan, Chinese Dream. Xi has also championed a more assertive foreign policy, particularly with regard to China-Japan relations, China's claims in the South China Sea, and its role as a leading advocate of free trade and globalization. He has also sought to expand China's Eurasian influence through the One Belt One Road initiative. Considered the central figure of the People's Republic's fifth generation of leadership, Xi has significantly centralized institutional power by taking on a wide range of leadership positions, including chairing the newly formed National Security Commission, as well as new steering committees on economic and social reforms, military restructuring, and the Internet. Xi's political thoughts have been written into the party constitution, and the state constitution was amended to abolish term limits for the presidency. Xi has had a cult of personality constructed around himself, with books, cartoons, pop songs and even dance routines. Early life and education. Xi Jinping was born in Beijing on 15 June 1953. After the founding of the People's Republic of China in 1949 by Mao Zedong, Xi's father held a series of posts, including propaganda chief, vice premier, and vice chairman of the National People's Congress. Xi's father is from Fujian County, Shanxi, and Xi could further trace his patrilineal descent from Zhejiang in Dongzhou, Henan. He is the second son of Xi Zhongxun and his wife Qi Xin. In 1963, when Xi was age 10, his father was purged from the party and sent to work in a factory in Luoyang, Henan. In May 1966, Xi's secondary education was cut short by the Cultural Revolution, when all secondary classes were halted for students to criticize and fight their teachers. The Xi family home was ransacked by student militants and one of Xi's sisters, Xi Haoping, was killed. Later, his own mother was forced to publicly denounce him as Xi was paraded before a crowd as an enemy of the revolution. Xi was aged 15 when his father was imprisoned in 1968 during the Cultural Revolution. Xi would not see his father again until 1972. Without the protection of his father, Xi was sent to work in Liangjiao village, Wenanyi town, Yanchuan County, Yan'an, Shanxi. In 1969, in Mao Zedong's Down to the Countryside movement. After a few months, unable to stand rural life, he ran away to Beijing. He was arrested during a crackdown on deserters from the countryside and sent to a work camp to dig ditches. He later became the party branch secretary of the production team, leaving that post in 1975. When asked about this experience later by Chinese state television, Xi recalled, "It was emotional. It was a mood. And when the ideals of the Cultural Revolution could not be realized, it proved an illusion." From 1975 to 1979, Xi studied chemical engineering at Beijing's prestigious Tsinghua University as a worker peasant soldier student, where engineering majors spent about 1/5 of their time studying Marxism, Leninism, Mao Zedong thought, doing farm work and learning from the People's Liberation Army. From 1979 to 1982, Xi served as secretary for his father's former subordinate Geng Biao, the then Vice Premier and Secretary-General of the Central Military Commission. This gained Xi some military background. In 1985, as part of a Chinese delegation to study U.S. agriculture, he stayed in the home of an American family in the town of Muscatine, Iowa. This trip, and his 2-week stay with the U.S. family, is said to have had a lasting impression upon him and his views on the United States. From 1998 to 2002, he studied Marxist philosophy and ideological education in an on-the-job postgraduate program at the School of Humanities and Social Sciences, again at Tsinghua University, and obtained a Doctor of Law degree, which was a degree covering fields of law, politics, management, and revolutionary history, though commentators have questioned this qualification. Rise to power. Xi joined the Communist Youth League of China in 1971 and he applied in 1973 to join the Communist Party of China 10 times, and finally got in on the 10th attempt in 1974. In 1982, he was sent to Jiangding County in Hebei as Deputy Party Secretary of Jiangding County. He was promoted in 1983 to Secretary, becoming the top official of the county. Xi subsequently served in 4 provinces during his regional political career: Hebei, Fujian, Zhejiang, and Shanghai. Xi held posts in the Fuzhou Municipal Party Committee, and became the president of the party school in Fuzhou in 1990. In 1997, Xi was named an alternate member of the 15th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China. However, out of the 151 alternate members of the Central Committee elected at the 15th Party Congress, Xi received the lowest number of votes in favor, placing him in last place in the rankings of members, ostensibly due to his status as a princeling. In 1999, he was promoted to the office of Vice Governor of Fujian, then he became governor a year later. In Fujian, Xi made efforts to attract investment from Taiwan and to strengthen the private sector of the provincial economy. In February 2000, he and then Provincial Party Secretary Chen Liangyu were called before the top members of the party Central Politburo Standing Committee of the Communist Party of China, General Secretary Jiang Zemin, Premier Zhu Rongji, Vice President Hu Jintao and Discipline Inspection Secretary Wei Jiangxing, to explain aspects of the Yuanhua scandal. In 2002, Xi left Fujian and took up leading political positions in neighboring Zhejiang, eventually taking over as provincial party chief after several months as acting governor, occupying a top provincial office for the first time in his career. In 2002, Xi was elected a full member of the 16th Central Committee, marking his ascension to the national stage. While in Zhejiang, Xi presided over reported growth rates averaging 14% per year. His career in Zhejiang was marked by a tough and straightforward stance against corrupt officials, which earned him a name on the national media and drew the attention of China's top leaders. Following the dismissal of Shanghai Party chief Chen Liangyu in September 2006 due to a Social Security Fund scandal, Xi was transferred to Shanghai in March 2007 to become the party chief of Shanghai. Xi spent only 7 months in Shanghai, but his appointment to one of the most important regional posts in China sent a clear signal that Xi was highly regarded by China's top leadership. In Shanghai, Xi avoided controversy and was known for strictly observing party discipline. For example, Shanghai administrators attempted to earn favor with Xi by arranging a special train to shuttle him between Shanghai and Hangzhou in order for him to complete handing off his work to his successor as Zhejiang party chief Xi Zhongxun. However, Xi reportedly refused to take the train, citing a loosely enforced party regulation which stipulated that special trains can only be reserved for national leaders. While in Shanghai, he worked on preserving unity of the local party organization, and made a pledge that there would be no purges during his administration. Despite the fact that many local officials were thought to have been implicated in the Chen Liangyu corruption scandal, on most issues Xi largely echoed the line of the central leadership. Xi's career is notable in that during his regional tenures, he was never implicated in any serious scandals, nor did he face serious political opposition. Politburo Standing Committee member. Xi was appointed to the 9-man Politburo Standing Committee of the Communist Party of China at the 17th Party Congress in October 2007. Xi was ranked above Li Keqiang, an indication that he was going to succeed Hu Jintao as China's next leader. In addition, Xi also held the top-ranking membership of the Communist Party's Central Secretariat. This assessment was further supported at the 11th National People's Congress in March 2008, when Xi was elected as Vice President of the People's Republic of China. Following his elevation, Xi has held a broad range of portfolios. He was put in charge of the comprehensive preparations for the 2008 Summer Olympics in Beijing, as well as being the central government's leading figure in Hong Kong and Macau affairs. In addition, he also became the new president of the Central Party School of the Communist Party of China, the cadre training and ideological education wing of the Communist Party. In the wake of the 2008 Sichuan earthquake, Xi visited disaster areas in Shanxi and Gansu. Xi made his first foreign trip as vice president to North Korea, Mongolia, Saudi Arabia, Qatar and Yemen from 17 to the 25th of June 2008. After the Olympics, Xi was assigned the post of committee chair for the preparations of the 60th anniversary celebrations of the founding of the People's Republic of China. He was also reportedly at the helm of a top-level Communist Party committee dubbed the 6521 Project, which was charged with ensuring social stability during a series of politically sensitive anniversaries in 2009. Xi is considered to be one of the most successful members of the Crown Prince Party, a quasi-clique of politicians who are descendants of early Chinese communist revolutionaries. Former Prime Minister of Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, when asked about Xi, said he felt he was a thoughtful man who has gone through many trials and tribulations. Lee also commented, "I would put him in the Nelson Mandela class of persons. A person with enormous emotional stability who does not allow his personal misfortunes or sufferings affect his judgment. In other words, he is impressive." Former U.S. Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson described Xi as the kind of guy who knows how to get things over the goal line. Australian Prime Minister Kevin Rudd said that Xi has sufficient reformist, party and military background to be very much his own man. Former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton tweeted, "Xi hosting a meeting on women's rights at the UN while persecuting feminists? Shameless." Trips as Vice President in Mexico commentary incident. In February 2009, in his capacity as Vice President, Xi Jinping embarked on a tour of Latin America, visiting Mexico, Jamaica, Colombia, Venezuela, and Brazil to promote Chinese ties in the region and boost the country's reputation in the wake of the global financial crisis. He also visited Valletta, Malta, before returning to China. On the 11th of February, while visiting Mexico, Xi spoke in front of a group of overseas Chinese and explained China's contributions to the financial crisis, saying that it was the greatest contribution towards the whole of human race made by China to prevent its 1.3 billion people from hunger. Xi went on to remark, "There are some bored foreigners, with full stomachs, who have nothing better to do than point fingers at us. First, China doesn't export revolution. Second, China doesn't export hunger and poverty. Third, China doesn't come and cause you headaches. What more is there to be said?" The story was reported on some local television stations. The news led to a flood of discussions on Chinese internet forums. It was reported that the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs was caught off guard by Xi's remarks, as the actual video was shot by some accompanying Hong Kong reporters and broadcast on Hong Kong TV, which then turned up in various internet video websites. Xi continued his international trips, some say, to burnish his foreign affairs credentials prior to taking the helm of China's leadership. In the European Union, Xi visited Belgium, Germany, Bulgaria, Hungary and Romania from 7 October to 21, 2009. Xi visited Japan, South Korea, Cambodia, and Myanmar on his Asian trip from 14 to the 22nd of December 2009. Xi visited the United States, Ireland and Turkey in February 2012. The visit included meeting with then U.S. President Barack Obama at the White House and then Vice President Joe Biden, with whom he had met in China in August 2011, and stops in California and Iowa, where he met with the family which previously hosted him during his 1985 tour as a Hebei provincial official. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?